We now move on to the Saare Jahan Se Accha side of things. Hey Mahesh, have you met Rajeev?
No. I'd love to.
Many years ago, I feel like. Hi.
Mahesh, Rajeev. As you know, Mahesh is directing Saare Jahan Se Accha.
Of course. This is a film that we've been talking about for some time now.
For a long time. For a long time, but it looks like we're
All ready to go. Are you looking forward to that?
oh my god.
Has it been a
It's been a long journey but constructive.
right?
But a little longer than it should have been. But here we are. I think everything
Sure.
ends up happening at the right time, right place, right people, all of that.
Mahesh, what was the starting point? What was the starting point for you? Why was this a story that you wanted to tell? This is, of course, the story of Rakesh Sharma, the first Indian in space.
Yeah.
What was the starting point for you in terms of just knowing that I want to tell the story?
Interestingly, there was a young AD who would work for me for years on commercials and what I used to do, whose name was Kapil Sharma, and it was about 2 years of working with him, and somebody, one of the other ADs said, you know whose dad is? Rakesh Sharma. And I said, Kapil, come here, you never told me this, because I remember watching the famous Indira Gandhi broadcast.
Right.
And I said, the next time he's here, you must bring him over. And of course, he came over for dinner, and it all started there. This is about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another part of the story which I'm not going to give away.
Okay.
Yeah, because we need to see the film,
Mm-hmm.
which is deeply personal. And there's a personal story behind what ended as Saare Jahan Se Accha.
Right.
And that's the story I wanted to tell. And when you meet Rakesh Sharma, you realize he's a very quiet, reserved sort of person. He doesn't talk about anything he's done.
Right.
And he wasn't sure that he wanted the story told. And it took a little while convincing him, and in fact the family helped me in convincing him to tell the story, because I think it's a story that needs telling.
Sure.
I have to say that when it comes to perseverance in filmmaking, this is one example of live in action.
Right.
I think Mahesh has been at it for what, six years now?
More than bit more.
A little more than 6 years from the time that he first learnt that Kapil's father was Rakesh Sharma.
Right.
And here we are today. So it does take time.
Sure.
Good things take their time in coming.
Mahesh, you said it's interesting, but it is an inspiring story, but it's also a personal story. And I'm just, wondering, I'm of course not familiar with the script, but I'd imagine you've seen or heard of First Man,
Yeah.
which also sort of seems, are you concerned about parallels just because that's the nature of these lives?
Yeah. I was very concerned before it came out. I was very concerned when Damien Chazelle announced it. I said, shit, I've been working on the story long before La La Land.
Right.
So long before even Whiplash or any of that.
Sure.
So I was concerned. I said, oh my God, that's in one sense a bigger event, without a question, man landing on the moon. But after the film came out, it didn't worry me at all, because though there are striking similarities in their stories, that film has been told in a very, very different internal space, one man's journey type of thing. Ours is not. Ours is complete. I mean, there's an internal journey, of course.
Sure.
But it's a very public event.
Right.
As was landing on the moon. It was a very public event.
Right.
It was the greatest thing that happened, I think, in our lifetimes.
Right.
So no, not at all. Didn't worry at all.
What keeps you passionate? What keeps the passion going when casting changes and when things take longer than they're meant to? What keeps you driven?
In this case, of course, it's the story. But there's something that that Rakesh told me when he finally agreed. The family met and said, "Oh, this is a good guy. Let him tell the story." And I knew most of the story, but he told me the whole story. And he said, "I'm trusting you with this story. I'm trusting that you'll do the right thing, because I know movies, and especially in the film, has to exaggerate. There is creative license. There is all of that. But the line where you sort of personally handed me that I guess baton of you're going to carry it. And so I always carry that in me, knowing that this is a story that has to go out. When it gets long and tiresome sometimes, which it does, I always remember this is the only guy. There is no other story. There is no second man. There's no.
Right.
There is nothing else. And time can pass, but that will remain. What he's done will remain. It's not even a record that can be broken or anything like that.
Right.
And
And it's been trusted on you, yeah.
So that keeps me going, I guess.
Sure. So it's fair to say this is the biggest of the film projects currently
Yes.
that you're. Why was this something that you were instantly drawn to, and like Mahesh said, have stuck on since it sort of originated, or since he was ready to bring a partner on board?
I have to admit that it wasn't like I was instantly drawn to the idea, because when I first heard it from Mahesh and Anjum, who's written the script, I felt, okay, it's India's the first Indian in space, because I didn't know the story behind what he'd gone through. But when I read the script, that's when I realized, what most of us had no idea about, and which of course will be unveiled in the film. That's when I realized that this was a film that had to be made, because you have people doing heroic things which are a technicality, the first so and so to do this or that. But when you learn about the struggle that went into what got them to that point, and you realize what they've had to surmount to do that, is what really excites you, and that's what really excited me about it. And so therefore, like Mahesh said, I think through the ups and downs, it's been Mahesh, Anjum, myself and Ronnie who've stuck with the project all through, and that's really because of how compelling the story is.
Right. I know that the title now has been announced as Saare Jahan Se Accha. The casting you're not yet ready to announce, apparently.
Not officially.
Right. Of course, there's been talks. How soon will we know more?
Pretty soon.
Okay.
Pretty soon. We plan to start shoot early next year. So I don't think we're going to be able to keep it a secret after
Much
that.
longer. Right. Well, all the best. Looking forward. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mahesh. All the best. Thank you.